Hello guys, in this video I'm going to talk about sunscreen. I have a couple of different sunscreens here with me, and interestingly all the bottles are basically orange in color. I have this one by Vichy, this one by Banana Boat, this one by Bioderma, and this one by Neutrogena. I have talked a lot about sunscreen. If you're interested in seeing all of those videos, please view my playlist. Probably on YouTube would have some videos on sunscreen. So I've answered interesting questions such as, if you have dark skin, should you be wearing sunscreen? In summary, yes, you should be wearing sunscreen even if you have dark skin. Our skin does not give us a lot of SPF, maybe only about 7. And when you're probably in a higher altitude, the sun exposure is a little bit different because the ozone layer is a little bit different. But I was talking to one of my sisters about, wearing sunscreen and telling her you should be reapplying it every 2 hours. And she was not very interested. She is very fashionable, always has her makeup on point, and I think her biggest frustration was that wearing or reapplying sunscreen is gonna ruin her makeup. So there are a few powdered sunscreens. I think Supergoop has a sunscreen that you can use as a powder to reapply over your makeup. But more recently, I think I discovered the sunscreen sticks, because I think some of these powder sunscreens can be a bit expensive, and if you have darker skin, they can end up making you look ashy, or your skin tone ends up looking a little bit off. But for example, my new favorite one is probably using the sunscreen stick, and I have the makeup on and like reapplying it. It doesn't take off a lot of my makeup. Like, you can actually see it does take off some of it, but not too much. It's not terrible. And I think if I reapplied in another place, basically it puts makeup on plus sunscreen on that other place. So this, I think, to me is a reasonable option. And if it is making your skin shiny, which it is making my skin shiny, you can probably put a little bit of powder on top of that. Trying something like this, Vichy, their sunscreen is pretty good. It has great coverage. Actually, I haven't opened this one yet, but putting this on top of makeup, I've tried. It ends up being very messy, but if you don't wear makeup or you're very brave, you can try it. And even though this is a chemical sunscreen, for me, it tends to leave a little bit of a white cast. And this one is another reasonable option. I think I was doing most of this, using this last year, but basically it's a spray sunscreen. It's a little bit shiny and greasy, but you can reapply that over your makeup. Let's see if this actually still works. But as you can see, it is pretty shiny. So if I was to put this on top of my already glowy face, it can end up being quite shiny. And you don't necessarily want to inhale this. So if you are going to try do something like that, you probably should be in a well-ventilated area, holding your breath. Ideally, actually, the bottle says if you're to follow the instructions and not to give yourself health problems, you should probably spray it into your hands first and then reapply or apply it onto your face. But again, if you're wearing makeup, that can become quite messy, but it is an option that is probably more affordable. I think this probably cost me less than $20 Canadian. This I think I bought on Amazon. It was probably $7. I bought it on the US Amazon, so that's very cost effective. This one, I think by Vichy, is also pretty reasonable. It's 200 mils, which is, I think, for my US friends, probably more than 9 ounces. I think I probably paid about $30 Canadian for this, and this lasts fairly long. So there are options. And then for the powder sunscreen, I think Color Science and as I mentioned, Supergoop have the powdered sunscreens that you can apply over your makeup. Those tend to be a bit expensive. I think they range anywhere from $30 to $60 US. So those are my tips to reapply sunscreen over your face. Probably the spray, spray it in your hands, and then put it on your face, and then maybe reapply your makeup afterwards. Or this, or ideally, some of the foundations and powders already have sunscreen built in them. If you can reapply that and not have your foundation looking very cakey, that might be another option. Bye-bye for now.